If you have people in your car that's like really rowdy, you need to focus on the particular person who's doing it and let them know that they're going to have consequences for everything that they do. Tell them, you know what I'm saying, that you're going to be reporting them to Uber, and make sure that you look straight in the eyes of the person that's the most energetic. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be the person who ordered the ride. You know what I'm saying? Like, just in general, like when you have people like they get in the car, a lot of times the first thing that people do when they're about to be passive aggressive as a group, they'll start laughing about something that has nothing to do with anything. You know what I'm saying? They might start laughing out of nowhere. Um, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to make it seem like you did something wrong, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're doing something wrong, or there's something wrong with your car, or you know what I'm saying? Or they'll start talking about something that's going on in their life, but laughing louder than what it normally would be. Like they're just being loud, but they're not being loud like they're talking real loud and yelling. They're just being loud, like laughing real loud. And that right there is a passive aggressive sign. Like you should already be wary of the group of people behind you or in the car with you laughing loudly for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times you got to realize there's not that much stuff that's that funny. You know what I'm saying? Just in general, unless they're like intoxicated. Now, if they're not intoxicated and they're doing that, and 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 on top of that, if they are, even if they are intoxicated, you still that's a red flag. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a major red flag, but they might have a reason for doing it. Okay, they're intoxicated, but still pay attention, you know what I'm saying? But the group of people who are completely sober, laughing hysterically loud, that's like normally their first go-to move, and it's really just to make you feel uncomfortable. And it's like they want to like I said in one of my other videos, one of the I had a couple of riders. I had my lunch in the front seat, you know what I'm saying, in a gallon of water, and he was trying to hop in the front with me, and I told one of them to hop in the back. You know what I'm saying? So they turned around and they automatically started getting aggressive. And that's always, every time, whenever something happens, if it's something that makes them mad, if it's a group of people, the first thing they're going to do is start talking to each other and laughing loudly. Or they might just be completely silent and just start laughing for no reason. You know what I mean? And like I said, make sure you pay attention to that. So the next thing that they do, if they start trying to tell you which way to go, you know what I'm saying? Just in general, you know what I'm saying? If they're complaining about something and they start trying to tell you where to go after they've done all that laughing, you know what I mean? It's usually not about which way you're going. It's about control and trying to find a way to have a confrontation or some conflict, you know? They want you to be like, no, I want to drive the way the GPS is telling me to go, or something like that, so they can have a reason to be like, to flip out on you and to yell at you or whatever they're gonna do. So it's not that. So it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? If something happens, the police are called, or you contact Uber, they can have a reason for why they did what they did. You know what I'm saying? So it's basically like it's an easy way to pick a fight. You know what I'm saying? Not that not that you should automatically not listen to them if they want to go a certain way. That's not what it's about. It's about when they do it at a specific time. They're, you know what I'm saying? It's 9 times out of 10, it's not because there's something wrong with the way that you're going. They're just, like I said, they're just trying to pick a fight or pick something, anything to get a reaction out of you, to get some control over what's going on and let you know that they're in control. You know what I'm saying? And just in general, try to keep your language clean. Like, don't start cursing. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, things are gonna get, like, if things get out of hand, stuff is gonna get reported to Google. I mean, why did I say Google? I mean Uber. Stuff's gonna get reported to Uber, and every curse word that you said is gonna be repeated. and it's gonna make you look really bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, curse words are pretty much useless. You know what I'm saying? You can say what you have to say without cursing. Like, don't curse at them. So, you know what I'm saying? Don't curse at them. You want, when they report what's going on, the most they can say is, it was the way he said it, or they just make it seem like it's how they felt about you rather than what you said. Like, you don't want to have anything specifically that they could say. You called them fat, or you said get the fuck out of your car, you fucking fat asshole, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, if they can have that, they'll latch onto it, and that's the first thing that they're gonna say. And Uber is gonna be like, you're wrong. You know what I mean? Depending on the situation, of course, but you don't want to have cursing matches with them. And just in general, just know that anybody who's doing all the most talking is probably like the weakest person in the car. You know what I'm saying? There's always one person who's hyping it up, who's making things go out of control, and who's doing all that type of stuff. And in the moment, it might make them feel like they're this big badass. And I'm not talking about directly insulting you and talking like they're a badass. I'm talking about picking at you, picking at your driving, or just being the main person who's hyping up the energy and talking loud and you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of this group stuff comes down to energy. So people understand how to make things go out of control just by their energy. You know what I mean? Like, they don't want logic. They don't want you to be able to everybody speak clearly and be heard and everything to be calm. They want to yell. Like, once things hit the fan, they want to just yell out whatever and not try to make any sense at all. They just want to have the energy pumped up, and you guys are in this car, it's a tight space, and everything's booming and everything's all, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything's out of control. The energy's really high. That's what they want, you know what I mean? So if anything, you don't want to contribute to that energy. You don't want to yell and tighten up and you don't want to add to the energy of these people, because they're just going to feed off of it and make it even bigger and make it get out of control. You know what I mean? So if you do say something to them, make sure you say it in a calm voice, not because you're afraid of them, but because you want to bring the energy back down. So, and even if you want to bring the energy back down, damn, that threw me off. All right, so you want to bring the energy back down just by your voice. When you talk low, and it's like, it makes it where they have to be quiet to listen to you, to be able to hear what you have to say. Because a lot of times, a lot of this stuff is about your reaction. Like, a lot of what they're getting out of it is your reaction to them. So they'll be really hyper in tuned and really listening to what you have to say. Like, your reaction is what you have to say. So they'll quiet down, even if it's only for a moment, which is good. That's a break in the energy. You know what I mean? So don't talk super loud. You know what I mean? Talk quiet. Especially, but it depends. Like, if it's somebody who can actually hurt you, you know what I mean? Like, obviously you can be hurt if there's a group of people, but I'm talking about if there's a real big guy who's bigger than you in the back of the car, you might have to deal with that a little bit differently. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where you have to read the situation. Like, sometimes it's better to talk louder, sterner, and commanding, and letting people know, you know what I'm saying, what it's about. Letting people know that you're not afraid. And that's what police officers do. If you notice, when they show up to a scene, they're always yelling, "Get out, get out, get out!" They talk really, really loud because people are conditioned to listen to louder voices and stuff like that. But you have to read the situation. You know what I mean? Some certain people are going to react to certain things differently. So that might not want to be your first reaction, or maybe it might be. It just depends on the situation. But a lot of the times, the best reaction is to be more quiet and reserved rather than loud and commanding. But yeah, just in general, if it's a bigger guy, it just depends on how he's responding to you. Like, because you don't want to, you can make people more aggressive just by acting afraid. If you seem like you're quiet and shy, people will become more bold. You know what I mean? So at the same time, when people are getting passive aggressive, just in the beginning, if they're complaining about whatever and they're talking real loud or they're laughing for no reason or whatever, sometimes you got to just say something just to show that you will. It doesn't have to be anything aggressive, but just to put something against what they're doing so that they know that, oh, here's a line, you know what I'm saying? There's a border here, you can't really cross it, or it's going to go out of control, you know what I'm saying? Because if you don't say anything, they keep testing, keep going further and further and further, and then, you know what I'm saying, finally they've done so much where you have to do something and it has to be drastic, you know what I mean? Like, so again, you know what I'm saying, you have to kind of judge the situation, but at the same time, it's like less is more. Less is more when you're dealing with these type of people. Like, you don't want everything to turn into a yelling match and stuff get into a fight or anything like that. So yeah, but also make sure you report every time something like that happens. Like, you can go in there and leave a report, because if they're that type of person with you, they're going to be that type of person with other drivers, and eventually they can get banned off, and you'll make Uber a better place for the drivers, you know what I mean? But again, back to one of my original points. Just because that person is talking really loud and being the most aggressive person, if you look at them and they're obviously the weakest person in the car, don't start thinking that, oh, this is how they are, and start feeling intimidated. Just realize that they're the type of person who recognize, power dynamics, and they basically, they're going to abuse power whenever they can, you know what I mean? And if you're outnumbered, they're going to be that's the only reason why they're this loud, you know what I mean? Like, don't automatically seem to think that because this person's so assertive and loud and direct that's who they are. Like, they're this intimidating, confident person who's, you know what I'm saying, who's bold and courageous. No. 9 times out of 10, people are only going to do like aggressive stuff if they have like some type of advantage. And in that situation, if they outnumber you, that's what it is. This person probably in their real life is probably like just some pipsqueak. They're just a pipsqueak, you know what I mean? They're probably not even the main person that you need to worry about in the car. Like, at the end of the day, like, you'll feel like they are because they're being the most intimidating, but it's probably the person you need to fear the most in the car is probably going to be the biggest guy in the car. Just simple as that. I mean, it's not always like that, but in most situations, it is like that. You know what I mean? It's normally going to be the smallest person, the smallest, weakest person who's going to do the most talking. You know what I'm saying? So don't sweat that person. And that's what they're going to do. Let them do what they're going to do. But watch that big person who can kill you in one punch, or whatever they're going to do. If they can just strangle you with one hand. You know what I mean? That's the person you need to pay attention to. But that's all I got.